An election that's closer than 2025 GP. A paper that a lot of you have been waiting for. It's finally CJC's time. In short, everything you're looking for will be in there. A compliment to JC. Find out why in today's episode of PPR. Alright, welcome back to another video. This is Yaula from VANTAGE Tutor, a class above the rest. And for today's Prelim paper review, it is a WA1 special, the one that my CJC students were waiting for. It is from 2025 Catholic Junior College H2 Chemistry JC1 WA1. Now before I begin, these are the questions that I feel are insightful and probably worth your time to try. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located near Boon King and CJC. Regular classes are up and running. The crash course is starting next week in June, and the full schedule can be found via the link in my bio. So wait no more, sign up today and I'll see you there. Firstly, this WA1 is slightly different from the rest where there is no MCQ section. And in short, this paper is a good complement to a lot of the other WA1s that I have seen. Why? Let's find out via my 3 matrices. Number 1 relevance, number 2 insightfulness, number 3 difficulty, before I give an overall score and recommend to you the type of students who should try this paper. And of course, if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, what would be a fair expectation of her from me in order for her to score an A in her actual A level? Firstly, relevance. If you compare this to other WA, the clear missing part is your MCQ. And beyond that, there doesn't seem to be much of an application question, but there is a question that is slightly different. And that's the combustion question, which I will speak about more in the insightfulness. More or less 25 marks, they're testing you on what you're expected to know. From ionization energy to your electronegativity to your orbitals and your mole and redox calculation. Everything you want to be tested because you studied for it will be found in this paper, but with a small twist in the question that I have mentioned. And mainly the goal of this paper is really trying to find out whether you can explain a concept without being too long-winded and to get to the point and at the same time score full credit of it. Of course, not everything that I want to be tested is in there. For example, the empirical formula question I feel not necessary to test given that most students are from the pure science stream and maybe those marks could have been defaulted elsewhere in terms of the back titration where most students will find the challenge in. And hence, the relevance of this paper is more or less what you expect, but a lesser version of it. And hence, the relevance will be given a very solid 7.5 out of 10. Next, insightfulness. Most of the paper, what you study in your tutorial, what you study in your revision package is what you see out there. It really comes down to you answering the question in the precise wording without losing yourself, without writing too much. But there is one question worth highlighting, and that is the combustion question. Now, the combustion question is unlike your typical hydrocarbons that you see in your tutorials all the time. This was a question inspired by my very own A-level paper back in 2010, paper 3. The one with an alcohol followed by elucidation. A lot of students couldn't do it. This question is great because when we change organic molecule to include an O, the general formula of the combustion would have to change. And how do you find out the new formula? It really comes down to either algebra or some sort of logic, whatever, but you have to figure something out because as far as I know, there is no fixed formula for such a molecule. This will really test a student's ability to think on his or her feet. Now, given I know in CJC there was one question like this in the tutorial and maybe their students are a bit more prepared, but for everyone else outside of this school, I think it is a good opportunity for you to actually try something a bit different that I think would not be found in most tutorials unless you happen to do 2010 A-level H2 Chemistry paper 3. And hence, even though most of the questions in this paper are somewhat what you expect, but because of this one question, for me, it bumps up the insightfulness so much more. But again, I have to be fair, and therefore the insightfulness of this paper will be given a solid but not spectacular 8 out of 10. Next, difficulty. Like I said, most questions here looks familiar and the only problem is the combustion of the organic molecule question. But then again, if you look at the marks allocation, even if you score 0 for that, you still have a very good chance of scoring an A. Simply because the rest of the paper, if you have done your revision, if you have done your tutorials, and you have been somewhat diligent in terms of preparation for your WA1, it's really just down to execution for you. and if you executed it correctly without panicking, definitely a B is well within your expectation. And yes, maybe some of you do not move past the combustion question, you spend a lot of time on it, but really, would it cause you to fail this paper? No. Would it cause you to score an E? No. In fact, most of you should be able to score a C and above, and hence the difficulty of this paper will be given a somewhat fair 6 out of 10. Overall, an above average paper. This would seem very familiar to the rest of your WAs that you have seen from other schools that I have reviewed. Ionization energy, atomic structure, I mean there's only this many things they can test, and therefore this paper, the clear highlight is like I said in the combustion question. And having seen so many WAs already, with this one not having an MCQ, it does offer something different, but does not appeal too much to my liking as well in terms of the overall look. But because of that one question, I have to give it a very solid score. And hence the overall score of this paper will be given a very solid 7 out of 10. And if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, a fair expectation of her would be 75% in order for her to score an A in her actual A levels. Finally, who do I recommend this paper to? I recommend this paper to students who have tried the ASR JC paper and want something slightly different, basically looking for a complement of a paper to the ASR JC paper. I feel that these two papers, they are testing on similar concepts, but they offer different spice to it. In the ASR JC paper, you're tested on your orbitals in terms of what they mean in the MCQ, but in the CJ paper, you're asked to draw the orbital. Same but different. And the biggest draw of this paper is not necessarily to try under time condition. You could have done it for any other WA, but the clear standout of this paper is the combustion of your organic molecule. That question is hard to find, and for most of you, even if you do not try this under time practice, maybe because your school is going to set MCQ and this may not be the most accurate representation, but definitely for sure, you should pick out that question as a question to try. And hence, if you are a student who feels that you know what you're doing in your H2 Chemistry so far in JC1 and you just want something different to really have a more comprehensive revision and understanding of the J1 topic so far, pick out the questions that I mentioned and this paper would be for you. Alright, so we have come to the end of this Prelim paper review of 2025 Catholic Junior College H2 Chemistry JC1 WA1. Now if you like what I'm doing, follow me on TikTok, like my video, comment and share it with your friends. I'm sure this will help them because ultimately I'm on my way to 10,000 followers. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located near Boon King and CJC. Regular classes are up and running. The crash course will start next week. The full schedule can be found via the link in my bio. Wait no more, sign up today and I'll see you there. Nothing else. This is your love from VANTAGE Tutor, a class above the rest. Take care.